The question of reparations, meanwhile, moving from a talking point on the 2020 campaign trail to an actual hearing on Capitol Hill, as a House panel yesterday called witnesses to address it. Among them, an African-American writer who was heckled for these remarks.
The people who are owed for slavery are no longer here, and we're not entitled to collect on their debts. Bill H.R. 40 is a moral and political mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Chill. He was presumptive, but he still has a right to speak.
Well, here to react is the executive director of Unhyphenated America, Christopher Harris. Good morning, Christopher.
Hey, good morning, Ed.
What do you think about this young man saying, look, I don't want to be seen as a victim, and people in the crowd who clearly want reparations are heckling him?
I think he was 100% correct, Ed. You know, the black people I know who are the happiest in America are those who realize that they're part of the fortunate 4.2% of the world's population to be living here in America. But, you know, here's about the issue of slavery and reparations. You know, when you continually put someone first and they put you last, that makes you a political chump. And we keep putting forward this issue every year. There's the same people, the same congressmen putting forth this issue every year, or at least they put it forth every year when there's a Republican in the White House. Mm-hmm. But yet they've had multiple opportunities to put forth this issue. They had it ever since the Congressional Black Caucus has existed. There was a time when Jimmy Carter was in the White House and he had complete control of the Congress. There was a time when Bill Clinton had complete control of the Congress. There was a time when Barack Obama had complete control of the Congress. Yep. If it was going to happen, it would have happened then. But it's not going to happen. Black folks, listen, I really want to tell you, it's not going to happen. They're treating you like Lucy treated Charlie Brown, pulling the football out from underneath him just after they promised they're going to let you kick it this time. It's not going to happen.
You know what's interesting is, to your point, I covered Barack Obama as president closely for 8 years, and this was not an issue he pushed. And as you say, in his first 2 years in office, he had a Democratic House and Senate where maybe he could have done it. Here's what President Obama said in 2016, quote, "I have much more confidence in my ability to mobilize the American people around an investment to help every child in poverty in this country than I am in being able to mobilize the country around providing a benefit specific to African Americans as a consequence of slavery and Jim Crow." I think it's very significant as well. Here he was on the way out of office when he had nothing to lose politically. He was presumably being honest and direct, and was also at the beginning of that not talking about black kids in poverty. He was saying all kids in poverty, we should focus on helping lift them up.
And, well, Ed, here's a question. What has he done since then besides enrich himself? I mean, he said that was going to be a focus, but what has he done since then? See, go back to 2008 when Peggy Joseph, who was infamous for saying that she wasn't going to have to worry about anything anymore since Barack Obama was the president. Mm-hmm. But see, if you fast forward, there's an interview of her from 2014 where she basically said she had a lot of remorse for that, and she said she felt rather foolish, and that she learned that don't trust the wizard. Uh-huh. And not only is Barack Obama the wizard, but the whole DNC is the wizard, because they're just behind the curtains pulling, they're acting like all this stuff is going to happen, but it's not.
Hang on, let me push back on that point, though. President Obama's obviously not here to defend himself, but I was in Chicago at one point with him when he was pushing this initiative. I believe it's called My Brother's Keeper, which is an outside initiative not focused on getting government money, private funds that I know President Obama has helped raise. It's particularly focused on young African-American males in Chicago, and again, trying to lift them up by bootstraps, not by government programs and the rest. So I think in fairness to him, President Obama has done that while in office, and I understand he's still involved out of office. Last point from you.
Great. Well, show me the money, Ed, and show me where the results are. Here's what we can see that President Donald Trump has done, is that he actually helped black folks by cutting regulations, cutting taxes, and look, the lowest unemployment rate in recorded history for black people, right? In America overall, but for black people in general. Mm-hmm. See, he actually did something instead of just talking about it. We got a lot of talk from Barack Obama. We got a lot of talk from Democrats, and nothing got done. We had the First Step Act that President Trump has done. Right. He's actually helping black people instead of sitting there using us as political pawns.
You're raising questions that Joe Biden is going to have to answer as well. He was vice president, and obviously, as we all know, for 8 years with Barack Obama. Where was he on all of this back then? We appreciate it. Christopher Harris, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.